I, Marcus Aurelius Claudius Quintillus, was born into a world that was both opulent and perilous. My story begins in the year AD 220, in the heart of the Roman Empire, in the bustling city of Sirmium. My family, the gens Aurelia, was of modest origins but rapidly rose to prominence thanks to the military and political acumen of my older brother, Marcus Aurelius Claudius Gothicus. Our father, a stern but just man, was a respected provincial administrator, and our mother, a woman of grace and wisdom, ensured that the household ran smoothly, instilling in us the virtues of discipline and duty. At the family villa, a place of tranquility amidst the chaos of the empire, my brother Claudius and I would often meet in the vestibulum. This grand entrance hall, adorned with intricate mosaics and statues of our ancestors, was the threshold to our private world. From the vestibulum, we would walk together through the atrium, the central courtyard open to the sky, where the waters of the impluvium created a serene ambiance. Reclining on the couches, we would talk for hours over wine, discussing everything from philosophy to the latest news from the frontiers. My early education was thorough and comprehensive, as was expected of someone of my status. Tutors from across the empire were employed to instruct me in the arts of rhetoric, literature, and philosophy. I learned Greek and Latin, delved into the works of Cicero and Virgil, and studied the histories of Rome's greatest leaders. My favorite moments were those spent in the library, a quiet room filled with scrolls and codices where I could lose myself in the tales of Homer and the strategies of Julius Caesar. Claudius and I shared a close bond, strengthened by the hours we spent together in the family villa. He was 10 years my senior, and from a young age had demonstrated a natural aptitude for leadership. As he embarked on his military career, rising swiftly through the ranks due to his bravery and strategic genius, I remained in Sirmium, continuing my studies and preparing for a future that, though uncertain, I hoped would be in the service of Rome. The villa itself was a marvel of Roman architecture. The tablinum, or study, was where our father conducted his official duties. It was a room of gravitas, with heavy wooden furniture and scrolls meticulously organized on shelves. Here, under the watchful eye of our father, I learned the importance of governance and the weight of responsibility that came with our family's rising status. Family gatherings were a frequent occurrence, with the triclinium, our dining room, serving as the focal point of these events. The walls were adorned with frescoes depicting mythological scenes, and the air was filled with the aroma of sumptuous feasts prepared by our skilled cooks. It was in this room, reclining on couches, that we would engage in lively discussions, our voices mingling with the music of lyres and the laughter of guests. As I grew older, my path seemed to diverge from that of my brother. While Claudius pursued glory on the battlefield, I found myself drawn to the quieter, more contemplative aspects of life. Yet, despite our differing paths, the bond between us remained strong. It was in the gardens of our villa, amidst the carefully tended flora and the sound of birdsong, that we shared our dreams and aspirations, vowing to support each other no matter what the future held. My youth was a time of learning and preparation, a prelude to the unexpected destiny that awaited me. Little did I know that the tranquil moments spent in the family villa, discussing the affairs of the empire with my brother, would soon give way to the turbulent and all-consuming responsibilities of leadership. My life, once filled with the promise of scholarly pursuits, would be forever changed by the sudden call to ascend the throne of Rome. The year was AD 270, a year that would forever alter the course of my life and the fate of the Roman Empire. My brother, Marcus Aurelius Clodius Gothicus, had earned his place in history with his victory over the Goths at the Battle of Naissus. His triumph was celebrated throughout the empire, and his popularity soared. However, the fates are fickle, and in the spring of that year, my brother succumbed to the plague while on campaign. At the family villa, the news of Claudius's death arrived like a tempest. I was in the peristylium, the colonnaded garden, when a messenger breathlessly delivered the grim tidings. The villa, usually a place of serenity, was filled with an eerie silence. I retreated to the tablinum, seeking solitude among the familiar scrolls and maps. It was there, amidst the remnants of my brother's ambitions, that I grappled with my own destiny. Claudius had been a hero to the people and a bulwark against the barbarian threats. His death left a void that demanded to be filled. In the wake of this tragedy, the legions proclaimed me emperor. I was in Mediolanum, modern Milan, overseeing provincial matters when the soldiers, loyal to the memory of my brother, gathered around me in a show of support. Their acclamations echoed through the encampment, a chorus of voices hailing me as Augustus. The moment was surreal, a blur of emotions and rapid developments. The Council of Generals convened in the Basilica of Mediolanum, a vast hall where the affairs of state were discussed. The walls were adorned with tapestries depicting Rome's conquests, a stark reminder of the responsibilities now thrust upon my shoulders. I stood before them, feeling the weight of their expectations. My heart pounded as I accepted the purple toga, the symbol of imperial power. In that moment, I vowed to honor my brother's legacy and to protect the empire from its many enemies. I returned to Rome to be officially inaugurated. The Forum Romanum, the heart of the empire, was alive with anticipation. Crowds gathered to witness the ceremonies, their faces a mix of hope and curiosity. In the Curia Julia, where the Senate convened, I delivered my first address as emperor. I spoke of continuity, of preserving the stability that Claudius had fought so hard to maintain. The senators, their faces etched with experience and intrigue, listened intently. My new responsibilities required me to leave the familiar confines of the family villa and embrace the grandeur of the Palatine Hill, the center of imperial power. The Domus Augusti, the residence of emperors, was a labyrinth of opulent rooms and corridors. In the Aula Regia, the great hall where I would receive dignitaries and conduct state business, I felt the enormity of my new role. The marble floors and gilded ceilings depicting scenes of pastoral life were a stark contrast to the political machinations of the imperial court. Despite the initial support of the legions, my ascension was not without challenges. The empire was fraught with internal divisions and external threats. Factions within the military and the Senate questioned my legitimacy. The specter of usurpation loomed large, and rumors of plots against me began to circulate. Yet, I remained resolute, determined to prove myself worthy of the mantle I had inherited. In these early days of my reign, I drew strength from the memories of my brother and the lessons of our shared past. The moments we spent in the family villa, discussing the future of Rome, now served as a guiding light. As emperor, I would face formidable challenges, but with the support of loyal allies and the wisdom of those who came before me, I believed I could navigate the storm and lead the empire to a brighter future. The days ahead would test my resolve and the loyalty of those around me. The burden of leadership weighed heavily, but I was determined to honor the legacy of Claudius Gothicus and to forge my own path as emperor. The road to imperial power was fraught with peril, but it was a journey I was ready to undertake for the sake of Rome and the enduring glory of the empire. As the year AD 270 progressed, my reign as Emperor of Rome unfolded amidst the turbulence that had become a constant companion to the empire. From the marble halls of the Domus Augusti, I faced the myriad challenges of governance, driven by a resolve to honor my brother Claudius Gothicus and secure Rome's future. The first months of my rule were spent consolidating power and addressing the immediate threats to the empire. In the Aula Regia, where I held court with my advisors, we devised strategies to bolster the northern frontiers against the ever-encroaching barbarian tribes. The generals who had served under Claudius were invaluable in these discussions, their experience providing crucial insights. One afternoon, I convened a meeting in the Tablinum, my private study within the Domus Augusti. The room, with its richly decorated walls and shelves lined with scrolls, was a sanctuary where I could think and plan without distraction. My trusted generals and senators gathered around the central table, maps and documents spread before us. We discussed troop movements, supply lines, and diplomatic overtures to secure alliances. The waters of the nearby impluvium could be heard softly trickling, providing a semblance of calm amidst the urgency of our deliberations. Despite these efforts, dissent simmered within the ranks. The empire was vast, and its people diverse in their loyalties and grievances. In the triclinium, where I often dined with provincial governors and military commanders, the conversations revealed the deep fissures within our society. The frescoes, depicting idyllic scenes of Roman life, seemed to mock the reality of our situation. Each evening, as the discussions grew more heated, I was reminded of the immense responsibility that rested on my shoulders. One of the most pressing issues was the loyalty of the troops. The legions, the backbone of Roman power, were restless. Claudius had commanded their respect through his victories, but I was still seen as unproven. To solidify my position, I decided to visit the camps in person. Leaving the opulence of the Domus Augusti, I traveled to the northern frontiers, donning the armor of a soldier to inspire confidence among the ranks. In the castra, or military camps, I walked among the soldiers, listening to their concerns and sharing meals with them. In the mess halls, the scent of roasting meat and the sound of laughter mingled with the clinking of armor, creating an atmosphere of camaraderie that I hoped would translate into loyalty. Standing before them, I spoke of our shared duty to protect Rome and invoked the memory of my brother, a hero they had admired. Their cheers echoed through the camp, but I knew that loyalty was a fragile thing, easily swayed by fortune's tides. Back in Rome, the political machinations continued. The Senate, a body of seasoned politicians and statesmen, was a crucible of intrigue. In the Curia Julia, where I addressed them, I had to navigate a delicate balance of appeasement and authority. My speeches were crafted to inspire confidence and assert control. Yet beneath the surface, I sensed the undercurrents of opposition. Some senators, their ambitions thinly veiled, whispered of alternatives to my rule, sowing seeds of doubt and discord. Amidst these trials, I found moments of solace in the gardens of the Palatine. The Peristylium, with its lush greenery and tranquil fountains, reminded me of the family villa in Sirmium. Here, away from the pressures of rule, I could reflect on my decisions and draw strength from the memories of simpler times. The garden was a place of refuge where I could momentarily escape the relentless demands of the empire. Despite my efforts, the challenges of leadership proved relentless. Reports of rebellion in the provinces and the threat of a new usurper named Aurelian loomed large. Aurelian, a formidable general with a reputation for ruthlessness, was gaining support among the legions. His name was whispered with a mix of fear and respect, and his ambitions were clear: to seize the throne for himself. In a final attempt to secure my position, I summoned my advisors to the Basilica of Mediolanum, hoping to devise a strategy to counter Aurelian's rising influence. The hall, once filled with confident voices, now echoed with uncertainty. As we deliberated, it became clear that Aurelian's support among the troops was overwhelming. The loyalty that I had worked so hard to cultivate was slipping away, and the specter of civil war loomed ominously. The realization that my reign might be cut short weighed heavily upon me. The responsibilities of leadership, the constant vigilance against threats, both internal and external, had taken their toll. The burden of the purple had proven to be more than I could bear. As the days grew darker, I found myself contemplating the legacy I would leave behind and the choices that had brought me to this point. In the quiet of the night, within the confines of my private chambers, I made a decision that would echo through the annals of history. My reign, though brief, had been marked by effort and intention, but the forces arrayed against me were too powerful to overcome. With a heavy heart, I prepared to meet my fate, knowing that my time as emperor had come to an end. The events of AD 270 unfolded with a relentless momentum, and as the summer waned, it became clear that my time as emperor was drawing to a close. The pressures of rule, combined with the ceaseless threats to my authority, had taken their toll. The news of Aurelian's march towards Rome, with the backing of the legions, marked the beginning of the end for my reign. In the Domus Augusti, amidst the grandeur and the whispers of history, I faced my darkest hours. The Aula Regia, where I had once received ambassadors and issued decrees, now seemed like a hollow echo of the power I once wielded. My trusted advisors, sensing the inevitable, offered counsel that was increasingly tinged with desperation. The walls of the palace, with their marble facades and opulent decorations, felt like the confines of a gilded cage. One evening, I retreated to the tablinum, seeking solace among the scrolls and maps that had once been sources of inspiration. The impluvium in the atrium cast gentle reflections on the walls, its serene waters a stark contrast to the turmoil within me. It was here, in this room of quiet contemplation, that I made my final decision. The choice to end my life was not made lightly, but rather out of a sense of duty to spare the empire further bloodshed and to preserve the dignity of my family name. I summoned my closest confidants to the Peristylium, the garden, where I had often found peace. Under the stars, with the scent of jasmine in the air and the soft rustle of leaves, I spoke to them one last time. The conversations were hushed, filled with words of gratitude and farewells. Their loyalty and service had been unwavering, and I sought to ease their burdens as much as my own. The garden, with its familiar tranquility, seemed a fitting place for these final moments. Returning to my private chambers, I prepared for the end. The room, adorned with tapestries and symbols of imperial power, felt heavy with the weight of history. I penned a final letter addressing the Senate and the people of Rome. In it, I expressed my hopes for the future, my gratitude for their support, and my wish for a peaceful transition of power. It was a message meant to convey strength and resolve, even in the face of defeat. As the night deepened, I took the cup of poison prepared for me. The draught was swift and merciful, a release from the relentless pressures that had defined my brief reign. In those final moments, I thought of my brother Claudius, whose legacy I had tried to uphold. The memories of our time in the family villa, the discussions of Rome's future, and the shared dreams of glory filled my mind. The impluvium's waters, which had been a source of calm in the atrium, now seemed to whisper a final farewell. The news of my death spread quickly through the streets of Rome. The reactions were mixed. Some mourned the passing of another emperor, while others, perhaps relieved, looked towards the future under Aurelian's rule. The Senate convened in the Curia Julia, where my final letter was read aloud. The senators, their faces etched with the marks of political life, debated my legacy and the path forward for the empire. In the days that followed, Aurelian entered Rome. His presence was commanding, a stark contrast to the uncertainty that had marked the final days of my rule. He took the throne with the support of the legions, promising to restore order and bring stability to the empire. The people, weary of conflict, placed their hopes in him, and the transition of power was surprisingly smooth. My body was laid to rest, with the honors befitting an emperor, though my reign had been brief and tumultuous. The memories of my time in power, the decisions made, and the battles fought would linger in the annals of history. My death, a choice made to preserve the empire, was a final act of service to Rome. As the empire moved forward under Aurelian's leadership, my name began to fade from the forefront of public memory. Yet, in the quiet corners of the family villa, the stories of my life and reign would be told and retold, a testament to the complexities and sacrifices of leadership. The impluvium, with its gentle waters, remained a symbol of the serenity I had sought both in life and in my final moments. The tale of my reign, though brief, would be woven into the complex tapestry of Roman history. As the years passed, my memory became one of many threads, a reminder of the turbulent times that tested the resilience of the empire. I, Marcus Aurelius Claudius Quintillus, may not have been the most renowned or the longest ruling emperor, but my story continued to resonate in the echoes of Rome's grand narrative. In the aftermath of my death, the empire entered a period of consolidation under Aurelian. His strength and decisive actions brought stability, and his victories against Rome's enemies restored a measure of confidence among the people. He honored my memory by ensuring that my family was protected and respected, a gesture that secured his legitimacy and eased the transition of power. At the family villa in Sirmium, life continued with a semblance of normalcy. The rooms that once echoed with the voices of my brother Claudius and me now witnessed the laughter and play of the next generation. My wife and children remained there, living under the watchful eye of loyal servants and family members. The peristylium, with its lush gardens and tranquil fountains, provided a sanctuary for them, much as it had for me during my youth. Historians and chroniclers of the time began to record the events of my reign, placing them in the broader context of Rome's ongoing struggles and triumphs. The Historia Augusta, a collection of biographies of Roman emperors, offered a detailed, if occasionally embellished, account of my life. It spoke of my rise to power, the challenges I faced, and the circumstances of my death. My name was etched in the annals of history, a testament to the brief but intense period during which I held the reins of the empire. The legacy of an emperor is often judged by the impact of his actions and the stability of his successors. In this regard, my decision to end my life to avoid further bloodshed was seen by many as an act of selfless dedication to the welfare of Rome. It spared the empire from a potentially devastating civil war and allowed for a smoother transition of power. My reign, though short, was marked by an earnest effort to maintain the integrity and unity of Rome during a time of great peril. In the Senate, debates about my legacy were frequent. Senators who had witnessed the rapid changes of leadership spoke of my commitment to the empire and my efforts to honor my brother's achievements. My final address, read in the Curia Julia, was often cited as a poignant reminder of the weight of imperial responsibility. It became a symbol of the enduring values of duty and sacrifice that defined the Roman ethos. In the far corners of the empire, my name was remembered differently. For the soldiers who had served under me, I was a figure who had walked among them, sharing their hardships and listening to their concerns. In the Castra, the tales of my visits and my efforts to connect with the legions were recounted with respect. Though my time as their leader was brief, the impact of those interactions lingered. The family villa remained a place of reflection and remembrance. My children grew up hearing stories of their father and uncle, stories that shaped their understanding of duty and honor. The vestibulum, atrium, and triclinium. Each room held memories of discussions and decisions that had influenced the course of their lives. As they walked through these spaces, they felt a connection to the legacy of their ancestors. In Rome, the people moved forward, their lives intertwined with the fate of the empire. My reign became a chapter in the broader story of Rome's resilience and adaptability. The statues and monuments that adorn the city served as constant reminders of the empire's enduring strength. The legacy of each emperor, no matter how brief or tumultuous their reign, contributed to the collective memory of a civilization that spanned centuries. In the end, my legacy was one of transition and sacrifice. I had risen to power in a time of crisis, faced formidable challenges, and made the ultimate decision to protect the empire. My story, preserved in the annals of history and the memories of those who lived through those times, remained a testament to the complexities of leadership and the enduring spirit of Rome. As the empire continued to evolve, the lessons of my reign were not forgotten. They served as a reminder of the delicate balance between power and responsibility, and the enduring importance of placing the welfare of the state above personal ambition. In this way, the legacy of Quintillus lived on, woven into the rich and intricate tapestry of Roman history. Thank you for watching. Our channel, known as the Renaissance Spirit, is dedicated to the pursuits of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. Video topics encompass areas including history, politics, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice, and other topics of liberal arts and sciences, including ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, which is a great comparison and contrast of the modern world. Topics perfect for the true modern polymath. The Renaissance ushered in a golden age and the pursuit of knowledge. Knowledge both lost to time and yet to be discovered. It gave birth to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason, embracing truth, knowledge, and an understanding and compassion for humanity opens up the world to each of us individually and improves all of humanity, affording us the opportunity to be better stewards of the earth and to each other. The Renaissance spirit, more than just a philosophy or style, but a style for living, learning, growing, and thinking. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If you're looking to explore and experience what life has to offer, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other videos on my channel. Please peruse and let me know in the comments what you get out of them and what other videos you'd like to see. But first, please take the quiz next to see if you're a Renaissance spirit. Live the Renaissance spirit.